Hey folks, this is Todd from Redneck Country. We have partnered with Millard Outdoors to bring you a special deal. Right now, if you're a gun club or an outdoor organization of some facet, Millard Outdoors is offering your first order of any promotional items such as hats, shirts, jerseys, water bottles, coffee mugs, pens, anything for cost. That's right, at straight cost. You'll be surprised how low the prices are. Get your name out there, get your brand promoted. Contact Millard Outdoors today to get your complete first order at cost. Just email info@millardoutdoors.com. That's info@millardoutdoors.com. MILLARD outdoors.com. Referencing the Redneck Country podcast, and someone will get back to you ASAP. Now that we've got the sponsor advert out of the way, here's this week's episode of the Redneck Country podcast, uninterrupted, just like we know you want me. I mean us. We hope you enjoy it. Hey, folks, one of the Redneck Country Podcast. You're on with Real Redneck Todd Millard. And, of course, we got the almost guy, Real Redneck Bill. Tom Bill, are you there?
I am here, and it's a beautiful night for a podcast.
It is a beautiful night for a podcast. It's a crazy beautiful night for a podcast where we are. Because I only know because I barely stepped my head outside just a bit earlier. But Dad came over in a friggin' Speedo.
Yeah, well, that's enough to scare anybody. But I tell you right now, the groundhog here was right. And I've talked about this on numerous podcasts in the last couple of weeks. My friend Spring is finally here.
Spring has sprung. Are you going all Wart and Willie on me? Pull a Tusky Phil, pull it to whatever the heck his name is.
I'm all in on this one. I put the snowmobile away yesterday, had the garage door open, was messing around. So yeah, we'll talk about that in a minute, but I'm all in on this spring thing.
So when it snows in a couple days, it's you we're all coming after, buddy.
No problem. I got big shoulders.
And you drive a Beetle, so
too long to not have big shoulders.
You drive a Beetle, so I know we can catch you.
We're getting there. That's the story. I sent a message to, hey, are we going to introduce the other couple members that we got on today?
Do we need to? I was kind of chilling along. We've had some technical difficulties getting rocking and rolling, so it's almost like we're family all of a sudden. He almost got to see the true Todd. What's that?
For the sake of conversation here, it was not my headset. It was Todd Millard's something or other over there. But we're blaming it on the almost guy because that's what we do.
He was almost connected to our technology. We're trying some new technology tonight. Some quality issues trying to get fixed. We've gone so long with just being able to headset and go, and tonight we're trying something new, and for whatever reason it was a little bit of a struggle, but we're getting there. We might have to iron some kinks out, but yeah. So sitting beside me, of course, as always, is patriarch of Redneck Country, my father, Real Redneck Todd Millard. Dad, is your mic hot?
My mic's hot, and so am I. It was a really warm night walking over tonight. It was really, really warm. It was wonderful.
Good deal. No more pickets on the bottom of them sneakers.
No spikes at all.
Nope, none whatsoever.
All righty. So also on the call is the latest buddy and almost family member, since we've just gone through some craziness together, getting this rolling, is a good buddy now, Dalton. Dalton, are you there?
Yes, sir. I'm here.
He is here.
I don't know what y'all got going on there now.
Yeah, Dalton's just like, right. I use this technology every day. What is your guys' problem?
Yeah, right. Hey, could you believe, Dalton, that in his spare time, that guy is an IT manager? Or an
really?
IT guy? Yeah. Right.
And having problems.
Yeah. More problems than we care to admit on this podcast. That's a total another podcast to talk about Todd's problems.
I tell you what, I'm buddies with Bill because it keeps me employed and excitable when he tries to use technology.
Yeah.
And I'm willing to take it.
My friend.
I'm willing to take the brunt of his jokes just so he can make himself feel better for his insecurities of using such.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of such, a non-technology basis, I sent a video to your dad this week. Did you get
awesome
that
video? Yeah, it was an awesome video, and you and I talked about it. It was cool.
Yeah, so I did not share that with your son.
I was going to say, what are we talking about? Video.
No, so for everybody in on the call here, we on the Thom household had a visit from my mom and dad this weekend, and it's March break, and they helped us out by taking care of Violet for a couple of days, and in that time Sunday, we finally fired up the Beetle engine to a lot of problems, but we got her all figured out with the Beetle. And, I just about burned the beard off once. That's for sure. I had a backfire that just about come up and singed the vapor barrier on the ceiling. And the fire that started inside the carburetor was probably not planned, but at the end of it, by the time they left, I had a nice video there for your dad, and it really wasn't working well when I sent the video, but I was too excited not to send that across. And sure enough, we got it going yesterday, and it sounds very, very good.
That's the hottest.
That with your son.
The fire in the carburetor, the hottest that car will ever look.
Yeah.
So like, what did you have to do to get it started? Is it a crank that you turned a bunch of times? Was Hunter there, like spinning the crank, and then you were removing the floorboard so that you can get your feet going, dump the clutch, Flintstone style, it kicks in, and away you.
It's not even in the car there, fella. It's on an engine stand, so we had all the control in the world to be able to do what we needed to do. So, yeah, no, Hunter is actually partaking in a skiing adventure in Jasper, which Jasper is in Alberta, and he's with his great uncle out there, and he's enjoying himself on the Marmot Basin Lodge, the Rocky Mountains, and having a good time. So he wasn't available to crank the engine over there, so we did it on our own.
So
Thanks
who's
for
we?
asking.
Candace?
Yeah. So
did Candace give you a hand?
No, thanks for asking. Moving right along. How did you guys fare out? We'll have a touch point real quick on your weeks, and then we'll get right into
move over into
the
excitement. I don't know, Dad. You want to go first?
Yeah, I didn't do much. Just shot a couple times, and was it ever better getting out from under the lights? I see a whole lot better in the daylight. My beads are crystal clear, figure 8, and I was shooting a whole lot better in the daytime.
Oh, good grief.
I don't like shooting under the lights, Bill. Just do not like it.
I love it, but it's over now. Yeah. Daylight savings time has come and taken away shooting under the lights.
It's all over and done with.
It is.
Hey, Dalton, you trap shoot?
No, sir. I'll shoot skeet every once in a while, but I ain't never tried trap shooting.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good fun up here. We enjoy it on the weekends, and I got my wife and family into it now, and we have a good time. And we get together with Todd and his dad every now and then, and enjoy blowing targets up and having some laughs and
burning money.
We don't hit them all, but we some of us do.
What's this? Don't. Yeah, just speak for yourself now. Come on. Too awesome. Ask me how I did, Bill.
Wasn't interested, but we're gonna go down there
because you got a text. You got another text this week. Was it Wednesday night that I fired the text off again?
Yeah, actually it was, and it kind of made me chuckle because for some reason one of the two of you didn't want to talk about your night.
So what I say? One of us shot a 48 out of 50, and one of us didn't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
So the fact that I texted you that, and it came from my number versus Dad's number, says everything you needed to say. Now, I will say
your dad figured out how to use your phone is what it was.
I will say, so that was kind of awesome, but I couldn't win because I already won twice. But I'm okay with that because I always said I need skin in the game in order to shoot decent. Like, because I never concentrate, don't care on the trap line. Just practice for me is tough to get my head in. But I actually concentrated and kind of focused. And so under the lights and cold weather, I was happy with that. I'd have been happier with a 50, but I'll take a 48. So fast forward to Sunday, it was actually starting to get nice. I mean, we were plus digits come Friday, I think, right? And snow melted. Sunday is our league, our big 130 person shooting league. And oh my gosh, it was the coldest I think we've shot in all year. Minus 18 and then wind chill and freaking blizzard. You couldn't see the targets in the handicap.
50 kilometer an hour No, 59 kilometer an hour gusts of wind.
That was insane. So out of 50, you shoot 25 singles and then 25 from the handicap from further back. So we got done and came in and somebody said, how'd you shoot? Not very good. I said, but me and Dad both shot a 43. They're like, well, dang near. That's like second place. And come the end of the day, it ended up being third place with a 43. Yeah. So what's that tell you?
In the wind and the cold.
130 guys. There was a 47, some 44s, and we were 43.
Yeah.
Tough day shooting, right?
Oh, I tell you what.
We canceled on Saturday because we weren't interested in wasting more shells because it was just terrible.
Oh, you texted me. You're like, we shot one round, we left.
Yeah, it was terrible. So, yeah, we'll get out this weekend.
Well, I was really impressed with the way I hit those targets in the wind, and I owe it all to me not shooting under the lights. Like shooting in the daylight, being able to see the figure eight on those beads. What a big difference.
And he listened to me a little bit more now. Took some tips.
So I was pleased with my 43 in that weather.
That's it.
I wasn't.
Still want to get better from here on in.
But I'll take it. So we got one left. But anyway, so enough about us. Let's move to southern Mississippi for our good buddy Dalton that's on here, because Dalton's got, he's been listening to the podcast, reached out, we were chit-chatting, he told some stories, and it's actually an honor to finally get you on, because this is something that we're going to take a break from the Days of Lead, which we've been doing for a while now, because so many people drive us insane with, they want to hear dad's stories. I don't understand. I think it's sabotage. It might be the other outdoor podcasts that are reaching out, trying to sabotage us, saying, hey, put more, but our numbers keep getting better, so I guess if you want to listen to Dad, we'll put him on. But we're going to take a break because and we're always about bringing guests on. And Dalton's like, yeah, he's got some stories. And it's hunting that we haven't really ever done or had the opportunity. And I think for us, it's the perfect time because we have just had, what's the term? It's not a regulation, but is it, Bill? Did they regulate it now, or they've said please don't shoot them?
Yeah, well, and that's the story there. I don't know what the actual regulation term or whatever, but yeah, I saw it on the Ontario Federation of Angler and Hunters is don't shoot them. I mean, it's not allowed. But what we're talking about is wild hogs.
Wild hogs, and they've just moved out. Like we've never ever had them like this far north, and so don't know where they came from, whether they were penned up pigs and they got out because we never really had wild hogs, or if they've migrated up. I've never looked into it. I could sound like an idiot right now. I don't know where they came from. It could have been just penned up pigs that got out and became feral. I don't know, but we've now are getting them. This is the second season people are seeing them. They've actually had to release a statement. Please don't shoot them. We're not going to have a hunting season yet. I believe the theory is they want to, if you hunt them, you spread them out more. So they want to try and trap them to get rid of them because they're quite destructive. On the flip side of that, I've always thought, man, and we talked to T-Bone, Travis Turner, and he was like, yeah, they're just a nuisance down in Georgia and Florida. And so when Dalton reached out and said he's got some stories, I'm like, I want to know all about it because I've always wanted. All I could think about was, hey, you can shoot your own bacon. Like we can get our own bacon. That's insane. So Dalton, are they prevalent in southern Mississippi like we've heard about down south? And are they a nuisance?
Oh yeah, they're thick down here. They're you pretty much gonna see sign all over the place down here on the river.
No doubt. And they eat the roots, then the trees die and yada yada yada, and they apparently
they'll tear it up. They tear the woods up.
What are you hunting? Is it like the javelina, the little ones, or the wild like a big pig? I'm very uneducated when it comes to hog hunting in the States, let alone where you are.
You know more than I thought you did, Bill. Are they javelina? That's with a J,
I don't know
right?
what you're talking about there.
Yeah, well, you ever been on a 3D archery course? The javelina is the only pig I've ever shot. It's a little wee tiny foam thing about the size of double the size of my little cooler here. And a wild hog is what we had, roaming around. You could see them hunting them from helicopters and stuff. They're two different sized pigs, but I don't know what you're hunting down there.
Yeah, so these here, they get pretty big. Biggest one I've killed has been just over 200 pounds, but I've seen some that's 300 plus.
Holy smoke.
That's insane. That's massive. Like, that's a giant buck. just over 300 pounds?
Oh, yeah.
My gosh.
Yep,
Okay, before we get into that,
get big.
I apologize because we should have backtracked a bit, Bill. We went right into it because I'm excited. But Dalton, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself? We know you're from Southern Mississippi. I don't know how much you want to reveal for all of our listeners that are out there. But by all means, break it down. Like how often, anything you want to share, but who is Dalton? How often do you hunt? What do you hunt? And then we'll get into the hog thing. Hopefully we didn't spoil it too much, but break it down for us. Who is Dalton?
Yes, sir. So I'm down here in South Mississippi. I pretty much go hunting and fishing every chance I get. Do a little bit of everything. Pretty much been in the outdoors since I was little, and mainly hunt the Pascagoula River Wildlife Management Area. That's the state land we got down here that we hunt, and do a lot of fishing on it, bass fishing, crappie fishing, and pig hunting.
See, now we might have to bring you back on for more because
so we just branched into a whole other topic, and you're going to get Todd talking way too fast here, way too much, and we're trying to concentrate on the Dalton side of it with more stories here. But yeah, no, based on where you are, how long have you been hunting?
Since I was about 6 or 7 when my uncle first started taking me, and then me and my uncle started off, or me, my uncle, and my dad, and but I used to take it. We had a hunting club that we'd go to whenever I was little, and I mean it just took off from there.
Yeah, and different species. What you deer hunt down there? Hog hunt? Turkey, is it? I imagine you hunt all 3 of those.
Yes, sir. Turkey season just opened up down here on the 15th, but I do a little bit of turkey hunting. I have never really got into it a whole lot. I've killed 1 turkey, but I plan on trying to get out this season and do a little bit more. But mainly deer, rabbit, squirrel, and pig.
Right on. I've never shot a squirrel. We talked about this, Bill, when we were rabbit hunting. But
you've never shot a squirrel.
I've never shot a squirrel. What do they take? Are they just like a rabbit, just smaller?
If you don't cook them right, they're pretty tough. I usually take and throw them in a crock pot, and season them up, let them slow cook for a little while, and they're pretty good.
I might have to try.
Meat falls off the bone.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we got enough around here that I could make a meal out of them, but I just never shot one I had one end up dead underneath my hunting shed once that I was not going to eat that one, but that was a different story for a different podcast. But man, there's enough of them around the deer hunting woods that makes you want to take a shot or two at them. I just never had the thought.
Yeah, might have to give it a go. Might have to try it. So what do you predominantly...
Fun, especially with 22 chasing them things.
With 22, no doubt. See, Bill, that would be more your style of hunting, just like rabbit. You just walk a little bit, stop, look around. There he is.
Yep.
Pop.
Yeah, and there you go, right there. And your hog hunting, is that an all year thing down in Mississippi, or has it got seasons on?
You can pretty much hunt them as long as there's a season in, but you've got to use the caliber for that season. So, if it's, I'm not too familiar with that. I usually don't hunt them except for just during deer season. During the winter months.
When you're out there for deer and one walks by, you plug it.
That's it.
I got you. I got you. See, and I was wondering if it's like, we have coyotes up here like crazy. So they're considered what we call a varmint, which then is, once it hits varmint territory, it's wide open. You don't need a tag. You just need your we have a small game license that you got to have to be in the woods. And that's it. No tags year round. Go get them. And the only restriction you have on what firearm is by the area, not by the animal. So the area you're in, biggest one you can use is like, what is it, Bill? A 243 for us here, Dad?
Oh, yeah, for you guys.
I think it's and it's just by area. But, you could shoot a coyote with a bow, shotgun, whatever you want, any time of year. Doesn't matter. They're wide open season go, and they just seem to keep coming more. And now they're talking hogs do the same thing. So that's why I'm like, wow. I'm not really a coyote hunter because I always said I don't really want to kill anything that I'm not going to eat. I'm not going to waste it. But, man, a 200-pound pig, that's a lot of food.
It's a lot of meat.
That's a lot of meat.
Yeah, I'm interested. Let's hear a story. Let's hear the story of maybe your first pig, and then maybe your most favorite wild hog hunt.
Oh, first pig. Let's see. That was back, I guess that was around 2007. I was sitting in my sitting in a ladder stand on a little food plot, and had, I think it was probably 2 or 3 of them come out, and they were around 100 pounds. And but anyway, I picked one and I shot it. It took off and come running right back right up underneath my ladder stand where it fell. And I ended up having to shoot it 2 more times right up underneath the stand before it finally died. But that was probably the first one I'd killed.
What were you using?
Or a rifle?
Yeah.
No, that was with a rifle.
No doubt. Yeah, and it took 3 shots. What was it, sorry?
3 shots. It don't always take 3 shots. I've killed them with a 22 while we were squirrel hunting. So,
yeah.
Like that was a little while back. I didn't put too good of a shot on it. But,
my gosh. So tell me something. That comes around, you're deer hunting, and because we know nothing, are the deer going to come around when you got 100-pound pigs chilling? Or do they avoid it like the plague?
I've had them run the deer out of food plots and stuff, but I mean, I've seen them close to each other, but not with each other.
No doubt. So they'll get that close, but they'll still hang. It's not like for us, for everybody, I suppose, a coyote's within 200 yards, that deer's out of there. Like it's knowing it's going. If it sees it, it's out. So, yeah. But not with pigs. They kind of coexist, kind of like turkeys.
Yes, sir.
Isn't that something? I figured that the pigs would have been all over those deer, especially when they get to be 200 pounds. They just become giant, mean beasts in the woods. But that's what I got to keep telling myself. I'm going to be able to shoot one day.
Someday. Yeah.
Well, if you've got them up there, it probably won't be long before you start seeing them.
Well, and that's like I haven't seen one, honestly, and we hunt quite a bit. And Bill, have you seen one?
No, but I heard recently I was at work and the guys were talking that there was wild pigs in my area. It was on the Barrie News last week. So they're roaming around here in my countryside, and I'm thinking that it won't be long if they're around before we start seeing them. Like
no
Dalton
doubt.
said.
They've really only been talking about it for the last couple of years, and really it was faint talking, right? And now all of a sudden it's like they're actually talking about, please do not shoot them. And everybody's going, are we going to have a season? We're going to have a season? Like they're becoming a little more prominent, and they're going, no, because if the theory that I've read thus far, if you hunt them, like I said, you'll scatter them, and then they're going to, I guess, breed in various areas, and they'll just grow in population where they want to herd and trap. And so we'll see how that works out. But
I just don't know how they're going to do that with any effectiveness to be able to control the population to zero. You know, it's just always going to be in my mind, you know, a couple here, and it only takes 2, right? So,
well, and define hunting them, right? So, like, are they thinking, guys, when you go hunting hogs, are you going to go push the bush, or are you going to get dogs and run them? So then you're scattering them, or are you going to sit like with a coyote? Like, I don't even know how to hunt them, but would you sit like how I would envision coyote hunting, where you put out that little squirrel tail with a thing and you call it in? Can you call in a hog? And like, what is it? You put out a bunch of radishes? I don't even know how to bait hogs. So I don't know what that means for hunting them. That's what I mean. I don't know much about it. Is it the fact that you run dogs on them, or is it like, I don't know.
Dalton, you hunted just sitting up in ladder stands. Have you ever actually gone out with the sole purpose that you're going to hunt a hog?
Not necessarily. Like I said, like we'll go out squirrel hunting, and if we start getting into a bunch of fresh hog sign, you know, then we'll kind of switch gears and start looking for the pigs, you know. But
what are you looking for with fresh hog sign? What is that?
Just where the ground's been, you can tell where the ground's been tore up and real fresh.
For them rooting around, literally trying to get to the roots of the tree
and stuff.
And the hogs there typically travel in multiples, or you're not going to get one solo. You're going to get a bunch traveling.
Yeah. Together. So like typically the big boars, I've seen them by themselves, but for the most part, like your all your sows and piglets, they'll all be together.
Once you've shot one, what time is the barbecue?
As soon as I can get him out of the woods and cleaned.
I was going to say, they're a pretty, smelly animal, I've heard, right? Like, guys will talk about, I can smell the hogs when they get close. Is that true? Like, is the cleaning of them, really difficult? Do you skin them? Do you leave the skin on? Like, I think of a pig roast where you just gut it, put a steak through it, put it over some fire. But how do you prepare this thing?
So I just hang him up just like a deer and skin him. But I mean, their smell ain't terrible. It can be, especially on them boars. They tend to stink a little more, but it ain't that bad.
Right on. And apparently they're pretty smart animals. Like, I did a little bit of research, and there's companies that make specifically for hog hunting, they make scent, just like deer hunting, but scent blocking and all that jazz, scent blocker soaps and sprays and everything. And they cater to the hog hunter. And I'm like, man, I always thought that they weren't that smart. They just didn't care. They root around and if they see you, they take off, but they're not going by odor and stuff like that. So I don't know how successful these companies are. I won't mention them, but
I couldn't tell you on that neither. I always just wear same stuff that I'd wear deer hunting. And usually, when we're squirrel hunting and we come up on them, we ain't never really had too big of an issue. They will smell you sometimes, but
you ever had any close calls where they've come after you? Because I know that they're quite aggressive.
I haven't. Not really. I had one that I shot last year with my crossbow, and I had to go down there and finish him, and he tried to get after me, but that was because he had arrow in him. But,
yeah. Well, that might have been a reason why he was coming after you.
Yeah, but just walking through the woods and stuff, I've never had any come after me like that.
No doubt. See, I've been chased by a turkey, so I'd be petrified of a 200-pound hog. That's something else. All right, my man. So you have shot a monster, right? So hit us with it. How did that go?
All right. So this past season, it was opening weekend of bow season, and I come out here to the Pascagoula River management area and launch my boat, and I'll take and run upriver. About 10, 15-minute run upriver, and I got a little spot back here in the woods that I go to, and I've killed, I guess, 5 or 6 pigs back here throughout the years. And so I was out there sitting up against a tree and had some turkeys and stuff out in front of me. They were up, you could hear them yelping and gobbling and stuff. And but it got to be around, I guess, about 8 o'clock. And I heard some pigs coming through the woods, but they was back behind me.
How do you know they're pigs? Like, are they snorting? Or are they like?
Yeah. No, they're squealing, snorting. It sounds like the woods coming apart. It was about 40 of them.
No doubt. And they're really loud,
yeah,
and it's distinct. Like, you wouldn't think, oh, that's a buck throwing down a grunt.
No. It sounds like the woods is coming apart whenever you get a big group of them like that coming by.
See, now I want to see that. I want to be in the woods. So you're sitting down, crossbow.
It's crazy.
40 hogs coming through.
But yeah, so they were back behind me. I couldn't see them. These woods down here are real thick, especially here on the river. And but I couldn't see them. They were I'd say roughly 100 yards behind me. And so I was sitting there. I was waiting on them, waiting to see if they would come, my direction. And they kept on moving back. So I decided I was going to get up. I had my crossbow, and I decided I was going to get up and, try to sneak over there and get one. And I made it, I don't know, I got up and walked about 20 yards, and I had a daggone deer standing in the woods. It seen me and took off. So then I was like, well, now I'm sure enough going to go after these pigs.
Good deer.
Yeah. Because during bow season down here, you can shoot does or legal bucks during bow season, but once it turns gun season, can't shoot does. But I don't even know what it was. All I seen was a white flag running through the woods.
That's how they do that, eh? So in bow, so do you? And sorry, we're gonna migrate. I'm curious now. Migrate from hogs for one moment. So in deer, do you buy one tag, two tags? Do you not buy a tag? Like you gotta call it in. How does that work for whitetail hunting?
So we don't have tags. So it's just on certain management areas that you can't shoot does all year. We've got some that you can shoot does all year, and then that's on state land. And then private land, you can pretty much shoot them all year up until the end of the season, during rut.
I got you.
As many as you want?
Yeah, it depends how well you know the officer, Bill.
Yeah.
There. Well, there we go.
Depends if you're willing to split the meat.
Yeah.
I haven't ever killed more than 2 or 3 a year.
And so we're going to, good deal. And there's lots running around. So they're,
oh yeah.
Okay. So the deer was gone and now you're back to hog hunting mode. What happens?
Okay. So the deer, it took off. So I decided I was sure enough going to go after them pigs. And so I was walking through the woods, trying to be real quiet, sneak up on them. And I finally started being able to see them through the trees. And so I got as close as I could. I was about 60 yards from them. I leaned up against the tree and just squatted down. And they was in some real thick stuff. And I was sitting there watching them. And I finally had one. He started working its way towards me a little bit. And he stopped in the opening. I hit him with my rangefinder, and it was at 40 yards. I was like, well, I got this one. So I picked up, and I got on him, and I shot. I heard doom, doom, and they all took off. I couldn't figure out what happened. Well, I hit I hit a limb that was right in front of me, and it deflected my arrow and stuck into a tree. Well, all the pigs, they all scooted back a little way. They got scared, but they didn't all just scatter. So they all just scooted back a little ways. I went up there to the tree, got my arrow out, and recocked the crossbow, and I started heading back towards them. And I got back up there pretty close to them, and I was sitting there watching them. I was standing there this time watching them, and I seen one started coming my way, and there was a little opening that it stopped in, and I hit it with the rangefinder. It was at 30 yards this time. I got up, got my crossbow up on it, and shot. It hit it, it squealed, it took off. And that time, whenever that one squealed, all the other ones started, kind of running around a little bit, and I seen another one coming my way.
Oh my gosh. I was going to say, pause there for a minute. Another one coming your way, but it's killing me to understand exactly how they sound.
When they squeal?
Yes. But Bill, do you have an idea? Can you give us a rendition, Bill, on how you think it would sound?
Yeah, it would sound like the podcast when Todd says, "Hey, folks, welcome to Redneck Country Podcast."
That's a pretty close right there.
I'll give you that one. Okay, carry on. So you shot one. They're squealing.
You asked for it.
I was trying to see if I could get Dalton to start making some pig sounds, or at least you.
You want me to try one?
That turned on me. Hey, man, if you're willing to show us what it's going to sound like, I'm down.
Something like that.
Oh, that's so awesome.
There you go.
That's so, dude, you're so kind to humor me with that.
You just made Todd's night.
You for real did. I mean, I will make you a ringtone that it's going to be on my phone for sure. Of that, I will send it to you, my man. We have we're getting a collection of ringtones. It's like the Redneck Country podcast ringtones. And it's just a series of different animal sounds made by a series of different people. I'm loving it. Okay, sorry. So you smoked one. Now the herd's going crazy. Herd? I don't even know. What do they call a bunch of pigs together? A gaggle? A herd?
I don't know.
Now I got to Google that.
I'm thinking herd sounds good.
I like herd.
Yeah, that sounds good.
It's not a flock, that's for sure.
Unless pigs can fly. But sorry. Okay, so you shot one. They're flying around. Another one's coming at you?
Yeah, so another one, it started coming the same way that first one went. So I seen it coming, and I was like, well, shoot, I got to reload real quick. So I was reloading and just standing out there in the open. It never seen me. But luckily, so I reloaded and was able to get my crossbow up, and it stopped in the same exact spot that the first one stopped at. And so I shot it. It took off. Well, at this point in time, I only had one arrow left, and I only had 4 with me, and one of them went in the tree, and then shot 2 at the pigs. So I had one more. So I was like, well, I better go ahead and scare these things out of here, because I don't really feel like dragging no more pigs out. But so I started I reloaded real quick, and I started clapping my hands and hooting and hollering, trying to get them out of there.
1 pig's okay. 2, all right. 3, no, that's too much work. We're done, folks.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Especially out there by yourself.
Oh, man. So you're clapping your hands, hooting and hollering to get rid of them.
Oh, yeah.
See, and this is the point where you go,
scared out of there.
Yeah, like, where's the fight or flight, right? How close are you? Is there a bigger one close by? Is it so close that it's now going to attack versus run away? That's a dangerous thing for me. I'd be thinking, and I just don't know enough about hogs. I'd be a little afraid. I might stay in ninja mode. All right, so you scare them out of there, then the work begins, right? You got to drag these things out.
Yeah, then the work began. So I got over there to where they were standing and couldn't find my arrows there for a little bit. I got to looking around. I finally found them, and both of them were stuck in the same tree right beside each other. I have to send you a picture of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was pretty cool. But they were stuck in the same dead tree on the ground. And but anyway, I finally started finding some blood and followed it out and found one of them. And I got back on the second blood trail, and it ended up just dying out on me. I could never find that second pig. But so I ended up with the one. It ended up being a pretty good sized boar. I'd say he was pushing 200.
Man,
I couldn't barely move him by myself on the ground, and luckily he fell right beside a tree that had fell over. We had a hurricane, I guess it was about 2 years ago, come through, and it knocked down a bunch of trees out there. But it fell right beside a tree, and so I run back to my boat, grabbed my rope, come back over there to the pig, tied him up, and was finally able to get him hung up in that tree good enough to where I could clean him out. And I hauled all the meat back and forth to the boat, which was about a mile walk with all that meat.
So did you quarter it up then?
What is it?
You quartered it up, like leg here, leg there? No doubt.
Yeah, I quartered him up right there in the woods.
Man.
There's your work and commitment. You need to invest in a little a cart or something if you're going to be shooting 2 and 3 pigs at a time.
So that's the second time I've had to do that, clean them out there in the woods, and I got me a buggy now. I got me a buggy now.
That'd be the best way to go.
Yeah, I'd recommend just getting a hunting buddy that's willing to clean them for you.
Well, that's the thing. I don't know. Nobody wanted to go that day, so I was stuck by myself, and I was sure enough going to go. So
I tell you what, buddy, us dedicated hunters, that is the plight of the dedicated hunter.
That is.
Man.
Yourself. Yeah, you know, it's hard to find good help when you're out in the woods, whether your gun breaks or you're running out of ammunition. But at the same time, it's always good to have somebody there to help out.
I put your gun back together for you, Bill.
Yeah.
And I was willing to shoot and use all my ammo to get those rabbits careen towards you.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sure you would be there to help Dalton drag his boar out of the woods.
Oh, you know what? I absolutely. absolutely, in a heartbeat. I'd clean it. I'd have rode it, slowed it down so he could get a better shot.
See, it's a total different style of hunting down south than it is up here. You're taking boats to get on potentially landlocked pieces of property to be able to hunt something, and it's just different. I enjoy hearing the stories about different hunts in different regions and how you're having to adapt, and it's just neat. I appreciate you telling the stories.
No, it is.
Oh yes, sir.
It's pretty cool, right? Because we don't really have that up here. I mean, there's places that you could get in a kayak down a creek and then you go hunt there, but it's not like that's not common at all. You know what I mean? Like, that's pretty cool. Like untapped animals.
Thanks for coming on, Dalton.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Thank y'all for having me.
No, we're going to have to bring you back on because, I want to know more about, Southern hunting down there, but you're talking bass fishing, crappie fishing, and coming up, I'm fixing to hit some tournaments. So I think we got to bring you back on if you're willing.
10-4 sounds good to me.
Well, Dalton, thanks. It was a pleasure meeting you, and we're looking forward to hearing more stories from you in the future. And good luck with the soccer game there and everything else you got going on.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It was nice listening to you, Dalton, and looking forward to hearing you again. So
I can tell you, just to end this up, the grouping of wild pigs is known as a sounder. Sounder.
So that's the what? A group of them?
A group of wild pigs is a sounder.
Okay.
And there's your Todd tip for the night.
There you go. Rock on. Yeah, no, it was good having you. Really do appreciate it, Dalton. That's awesome. I really appreciate you taking the time, sharing the story, but we'll get some technology kinks worked out for the next time so it doesn't take us so long to get rocking and rolling, and we won't have such frustrations for you to see leading up to the podcast, but it was good nonetheless. I really do appreciate your time. We all do. Thanks for coming on, my man. And we'll definitely be in touch.
All righty. Yes, sir. Thank y'all.
And that'll do it for this week, folks. For the Redneck Country podcast, I'm Bill, the Almost Guy Tom.
And I'm Todd. And thanks for listening. And folks, if you want to be part of the podcast or you want to give us some feedback or really contact us about anything, feel free to email us at podcast@theredneckcountry.com. Again, that's podcast@theredneckcountry.com. Thanks for listening. Talk to you again next week.